I mean, you mentioned how Lenny Fournette, he's like remotivated. He can run sprints with kind of like a purpose. On the opposite end of the spectrum, what are the Jaguars like now? Like, are they just walking around?
They were already.
Bro, they got Bud Lights.
That's right.
Yeah, you got Bud Light.
Mr. Minshew.
Listen, Gardner Minshew is another guy where I'm a fan of.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, that's going to be tough to succeed down there. I mean, now this could be clipped. By the way, this could be clipped. What I'm saying right now, but they suck. Right, like on paper, they suck. I mean, it is going to be tough to sell tickets. Not that they have to, because we're in the middle of COVID-19, but that would be a tough team to sell to your fan base. Like, hey, this is what we got. You remember the mustache and jorts in the headband? Still got him. Okay, still got him. But think about it. But we can't name another motherfucker on the team. Okay, you can't either. Whenever NFL Inside Training Camp goes on NFL Network, you see Gardner Minshew. They show a lot of him, and he's playing catch with guys who honestly probably assume they're potentially selling insurance at this point.
Yeah.
They're now our starters. But what we're going to do with Doug Marrone is we're going to get a team that comes together and gels together, and we're going to play good football for Duval County and London, England, which is also our home. I don't know what they're doing down there. I don't know what they're doing. But nobody wants to put shitty film out there. They want to make money. So the players are still going to go hard because they understand, for a lot of them, that literally no other team would they be a starter. But here they are in Jacksonville, potentially getting a chance to get an opportunity. And maybe they'll be able to, win 7 to 9 games, 6 to 9 games.
In the next 3 years.
Maybe they'll be able to do that. Maybe Gardner Minshew, Ryan Fitzpatrick's that thing, and just wills them to victory somehow. But boy, I don't see it. I just don't know how the fuck that happens. It's like Leonard Fournette whenever he was waking up and going to practice for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's like, yeah, I'm going to run this route, but all right, here we go. All right, we stink. Any extra sprints? Get them tomorrow. But now when you're at the Bucs, it's like, here we go. We might see the best Leonard Fournette we've ever seen, by the way.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's going to a situation where it matters. Every single rep matters. Every single practice matters. Every single team meeting matters. Every single film study matters. Every single extra rep matters. Every single jugs machine matters. That is something that can really, especially a guy who dominated in college and every game mattered there. I mean, that could be something that completely brings you back to life. And he's making more money than he's ever made. He's making $7.7 million with a potential average payday coming afterwards because there's 13 running backs that are going to be free agent after.
First time he's not like the focal point of the offense too, and like the defense is looking across the ball and thinking like, oh, that's the guy we need to stop. Like he's what, the third or fourth guy now on the offense?
And there's a lot of Jaguars fans who came out and said, hey, he's been a bust or whatever. It's like, I think he would even agree that maybe he had 1 bad year or 2 bad years or whatever. And then he went out to Wyoming, loses 20 pounds, cut some people out of his life. And last year, he was a stud. And it's like, why would now be the time? I think you're supposed to buy low, sell high. But it feels like he's climbing still. And you should maybe, and you didn't get anything in return. So you didn't sell, actually. You just kind of like were like, fuck it, stock market, take all the money. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
In the simplest football terms, very easy to stack the box against Jacksonville. You ain't doing that against Tampa.
Oh, not whenever Gardner Minshew's out there. You were talking about old Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, not now Jacksonville.
No, now too.
Oh, you're talking about Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, they ain't got no weapons.
What if Gardner Minshew is the next Drew Brees?
Might be.
Could be.
What if Gardner Minshew
Might be.
is the next
could
Drew
be.
Brees? That's what Jacksonville's holding on hope, I would assume.
That's why they didn't draft Mahomes.
Or they're just
Smart.
or they're just trying to suck and really try to get in that lottery for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. If you get Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, which is an SEC area there,
Oh, yeah.
or an ACC area there, I mean, that's a good move. What if Trevor Lawrence says, I'll go back and play another year?
What if he does do that?
Yeah.
What if he does?
Will you stop yelling? We had to put a compressor.
I can't hear myself when we started. I
Turn
couldn't
up
hear
the-
myself.
Turn up the fucking thing.
I did, and then I said something, and it hurt.
Now you know what we feel.
Yeah, I got to turn
But
it
for
down.
By the way, buying time right now for
for those of them, those saying that he was a bust,
Yeah, we are just buying. Like this conversation, people saying doesn't matter. Doesn't. You're right. Like we're 100% buying time. Go ahead, Diggs. A little factual statement.
Fournette.
but yeah, those saying that he was a bust, he had 1,300 yards his rookie year. And then in 8 games when he was hurt, he had 624 yards. So that would have been, 1,200? And then he had 1,700 last year.
In 15 games.
And playing for a team that does not matter.
I feel like those are good numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing in London a couple times, playing in front of like Tarp
Especially when
Stadium.
you're playing from behind all game.
By the way, we're throwing the ball at that point. What are we doing? Just doing check down?
Some breaking news in the NFL.
Here we go.
not super familiar with his name, but I did check the depth chart. He is the starting safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ronnie Harrison is being traded to the Cleveland Browns.
The starting fucking safety's gone now? Yeah. This team stinks, dude.
Yeah, what did they get for him?
5th rounder.
Man.
What the fuck?
What's Doug Marrone got to be thinking? Hey, we're setting this all up for the coach that comes after me?
Probably just hammering bologna sandwiches and just sending everything.
And hammering his bologna, probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting situation. So not only did they get rid of their starting running back, 31% of their offensive production last year, not only did they get rid of 2 of their most prominent defensive linemen in Yannick Ngakoue, who takes a $6 million pay cut to get the fuck out of town. Calais Campbell gets traded didn't even know he was going to get traded. Actually thought he was going to be with Jacksonville for a long time. Jalen Ramsey you're just talking about everybody on their team. Yeah. Nick Foles, Bowie. Everybody on their team is just like. So if you're on the Jacksonville Jaguars right now and you're a good football player, are you trying to suck in practice so that you can get a job? Because it feels like you're not going to have a job with the Jacksonville Jaguars if you're good at football. And I think they're very lucky that this COVID-19 thing is not allowing fans in the stands, or they can take a grandstand and say like, hey, we're not allowed to have any fans in the stands. We're taking extra precautions. Because I don't know how you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan right now and be like excited, unless you are buying into the fact that, hey, finally our team is choosing to suck outright as opposed to be average. And if you're cheering for a tank season, that's got to be tough already. But if this works out and they get Trevor Lawrence and the whole team turns around, I guess we hindsight this and say good for them. But that entire building is going to get blown up after this season if they're trying to suck, just like it did for the Colts whenever I was there, whenever we got Andrew Luck.
Yeah, you would think, but when you were talking about that, it reminded me, or it had an idea popped in my head. So, Steve Nash just got named the Brooklyn Nets head coach, right?
White privilege, yeah, white privilege. Stephen A. Smith said it was because
someone said that, right?
Stephen A. Smith, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, maybe. Maybe.
We don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But what if
Who knows?
Phil Rivers leads the Colts to a Super Bowl, and then Shad Khan gives him a call, and he's like, hey, I know you want to coach high school. I'll pay you $15 a year. Why don't you come take over the Jags as the head coach?
Phillip Rivers?
Phillip Rivers, yeah. That's not completely crazy.
Oh, it's something the Jags would do. I like the fact that
it would get people talking about the Jags.
They had those pool parties during the games. That talked about the Jags. They went over to London. That talked about the Jags. They had primetime games in the morning, but it was only show on TV because they were in London. It does feel as if the Cons are somebody that try to, promote things, get it going. But with this team doing what it's doing, obviously sucking. We said this about the Miami Dolphins last year, and Gardner Minshew might be the same type of player as Ryan Fitzpatrick, where even if you're trying to suck, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to win a couple games for you. They were trying to get the number 1 overall pick. They got the number 5 overall pick, and maybe Gardner Minshew's the same person, but everybody in that building has to see the writing on the wall at this point. David Caldwell, who Michael Lombardi, who's former GM, calls David Blaine Caldwell because he's a magician. He sucked for so long somehow, and he's still the GM. Doug Marrone knows that he's got to see the writing on the wall at this point. That whole building has to know, this is we just get to kind of have a lame duck year here. It does not matter what we do or say. It will not affect the future because everybody assumes they're going to pick one person. Let's say it's Phillip Rivers. Who says it's not Phillip Rivers? If they're going to pick one person, they're going to be GM, head coach, and they're going to be tasked with rebuilding that entire franchise. And I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know who's going to do it. But it feels like this is a team who is trying to suck more than every other team. And if you're a Jaguars fan, you just got to be like, all right, well, we'll just grit and bear this for another year of suck, and then we'll be good after this. But it's going to take a while to build that thing from top to bottom, and I don't think that's an easy process to do.